Hey everyone, Vova Zeeon is in here and you're listening to the Draft Tool Dodger podcast. I'm talking about my life of an immigrant from Ukraine who tries to make it in comedy in Toronto, which is incredibly fun for me only. In episode 5, I want to deconstruct not only the Toronto comedy scene, but to try and do the same thing with myself. Since I've caught the flu and I'm forced to stay home, self-medicating, like everything as usual. This is the perfect moment to surrender to thoughts you are about to hear. No, I don't plan on engaging in self-flagellation or, revealing all my cards. That would be too cliche. I don't want to whine, I just want to figure out what exactly I'm trying to do and whether it can even be called stand-up comedy. And a quick reminder that you can still follow me on social media and even throw a tip on buy me a coffee. So you can buy me a coffee or a cough syrup if you would like to do that for what I'm doing. It's all in your hands and your wallets. And in my lungs, obviously. Also, if you're interested in seeing me live, you can do so on May 10th in Toronto at Comedy Bar on Bloor Street. Tickets will be available on their website soon, and I'll add a link to my link tray. Alright, let's roll. The thing is, I was doing comedy for 8 years before I've ever touched stand-up. And I played a comedy game that was popular in Ukraine back then. It was called KVN or KVN. To be fair, people in Ukraine only really started learning about stand-up and moving in that direction after the full-scale Russian invasion, which began in 2022. KVN is a comedy game that is sterile, like the disposable syringes they hand out to the methadone addicts. In KVN, I heard almost exactly what I hear today from the comedy gurus in Toronto. Like, make it funny, truth isn't funny, never tell the truth. And you always have an editor watching you, when you're playing KVN. Editors watching you, correcting you, trying to make you palatable and funny for the general public. And if you aren't like that, they ask you, why are you even living for? What are you even living for? Based on that experience, I live to be a free writer for myself. To be judged by people who, after having a good laugh, immediately forgot I existed and then went on to despise the game itself for its lack of bite. With the start of the hybrid war with Russia in 2014, a new project appeared in Ukraine called League of Laughter, which was ruled by President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, where I participated in both the local and national levels. To say I achieved great success in these games would be a lie. I performed on a stage in my hometown and many people there knew me and recognized me as a writer with potential. But even then I was trying way too hard to fit into the inner circle, always feeling like an outcast anyway. And now I'm trying to face that and trying to completely understand what's going on in there. And I think every comedian just sooner or later should ask themselves, why do they write jokes and perform them on stage? And usually there is a lot of reasons, because it's funny, because it's important for them to make people laugh, believing the laughter is a high functioning weapon against global hatred. I think that's bullshit. There could be a million reasons, if not a billion, and I ask myself this constantly. And so far, only one answer comes to mind. It's hard to formulate, but I'll try. I do comedy because it's the only way to explain this absurd world. With its people, events, illnesses, violence, life, and death. I write and I speak because I want to figure it out and to be heard. To feel less alone in this madhouse where I'm just a patient playing doctor, you know. Do I get angry when I'm not understood? Yes, absolutely. Do I fall into despair when I'm not accepted? Completely. And what am I doing about all of this now? I guess it's absolutely nothing. In the past, I would have bent over backwards just to be noticed, so someone would say, "My God, you're so cool, funny, and interesting. I want to spend time with you. I want to give you a job. I want to be your friend. I want to be your woman. I just want to be near you." But with time, I understood that it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work that way, and it never will. I realized that now I no longer pin great hopes on myself or on people. I'm simply walking along the shoulder of this road called life, which leads me God knows where. Absolutely. I used to try to meet expectations just to catch a convenient ride or a bus to make this stretch of the journey a little easier. But it felt like I was walking in a clown suit, holding a sign, "I'm great, hire me, I'll give you a celebration." And only now I have realized that a clown walking on the shoulder doesn't inspire trust. He inspires pity, fear, and anxiety. A person driving by in a car thinks I'm about to lunge at them with a knife, even though I'm just going to tell jokes. And even if I manage to jump into someone's ride a couple of times, sooner or later they would reach their destination or throw me out after a scandal. And I would continue walking in solitude. But now, a reverse effect has happened. Now I'm the one afraid to get into those cars, because I understand that someday this won't end well either. My corpse will just be tossed into the roadside dust to rot after they've had their fill of mocking me. The only way to survive is to keep walking, to earn enough money through my street performances and whatever gigs, reach the nearest dealership and drive off down the highway in my own car without picking up those I don't trust. I love how people tell me, like, "Vova, you need to go to therapy. You look and sound so depressed." No, I know the exact reason for my depression. And it's not that injustice. It's something different. So the exact reason of my depression is an absence of money. I'm 100% sure about it. I open my closet daily and I have to choose what to wear between two pairs of pants. And it's not old or new or clean or dirty. It's just, right or left. No more options available. And you say, therapist is gonna make me feel better? I doubt it. 5 zeros after the number 3 in my bank account. That's what's gonna make me feel better. And I don't want to share that money with a therapist. Neither my thoughts. I'm afraid that I've already written my best material and that I'll just keep stumbling on this treadmill called life. While everyone else is debating whether to tape a Netflix special, I'm deciding today it's gonna be no frills or the food bank. I don't even want to be rich now, I just realized that. I just want to be middle class. And do you realize how small my dreams are? I dream of a mortgage for a house instead of the house itself. I dream of a credit approval for a car, not the car. And I dream about how after this set, I'll go home and jerk off to this memory of my ex-girlfriend instead of trying to ask someone out. And even now I dream about having a hand job instead of a good job. I can't dream big now. It's like if Dr. Martin Luther King, instead of dreaming of equal rights between black people and white people, would dream about the equal discounts for blacks and whites at the grocery stores. It's not that powerful. I have a dream. In my case, it feels like, I have a kind of request. Fuck. I'm turning into my grandfather. He complained to me once that he couldn't afford to take my grandmother to the theater when he was young, and he felt so miserable, and so he couldn't meet her parents because he couldn't buy anything. I mean, like, he couldn't buy any kind of clothes. So he just fucked her in the dorms. My fantasy is maximally ordinary, because I'm stuck in the same cocoon as my grandfather. And I've realized I'll never be one of those butterflies. I'll be a moth. I'll sit here in your fucking closet, in your wool clothes, and scare the shit out of you by flying into your eyes every time you open the door. And then you will only choose left or right pants to wear. See, like, the main point of my vision is like, life is a book. Life is a book, and all of those gravestones that you can see on the cemetery is just the bookmarks in that book. We are forced to read the book, but we are not forced to write it. That's the thing. Like, we always thought that we were writing that book called life. We are the authors. Here's our story. Here's our origin. But in general, what I've noticed that we are not. We are not. We're just like small people who are living in that vacuum, trying to understand that we're controlling our lives and all that shit. And in general, we are actually so convinced in that, but we have no understanding how does it work. And so we're forced to read that. And at some point, if you go to the cemetery, you can see those bookmarks, those gray gravestones, which symbolize people who just, read the book, left the bookmark, and then he gave it away. He returned it to Toronto Public Library or whatever, World Public Library, as we can say. And yeah, nothing specific about it. So yeah, you can go in there, or you can just go across the city and see a bunch of monuments, or like listen to the bunch of politician stuff that was made in there. Like, those guys, they are following the rules of the book. But to be sure, they never would ruin and they never would doubt the text, what's going on. But there are some people who are going in there. I'm not trying to compare myself to them, but at least I'm trying to do the same thing. Like, there are some people who are doubting the context, doubting the whole content of the book. So they are just, they don't leave those fancy bookmarks. They don't even leave those fancy bookmark stickers. They just like writing their own questions on the margins of books. They're just like trying to ask and trying to debate the whole thing that goes on in there. And that's how they are remembered, because it's really, really hard to get rid of them, to get rid of their thoughts. And then there's me, just a guy who just draws dicks and on the margins and vandalizes the portraits of those who were really, really good to the history and to life laws, to the rules of life. But here's the thing, I don't think that God is really care about us, because God is not a loving father. He's a fucking librarian, who just wants to have that book back. He's not caring about the story. He doesn't care about the thing that will be after. He knows already what's gonna be, and he's just like laughing. You haven't finished that book, oh loser, or you just like made it all as it was said in the book. But then when you're just trying to vandalize it, like he just curses you, he swears at you, he's like trying to erase your traces that you have done before. But even though you've been erased after, all traces will be still in there. You know what I mean? Like, even the hole after that eraser, after that rubber, after that blade, will be still in there on that page when you stayed for a while. That's fun for me. Okay, it was Vova Zeeon, and it was a Draftful Dodger. As I said before, follow me on social media. If not, keep making me feel as miserable as it's possible. But yeah, I'm gonna try to fuck up that librarian who is not like letting me to ask my questions and draw decks on the margins and vandalize the portraits. I'll see you when I'm looking at you, and I'm gonna look at you on Wednesday at 7 a.m. as usual. So come on. Cheers.